Hello children, happy to meet you once again with another lesson for you. Today in this lesson you are going to learn about how to write a simple story. As you all know, this is question number 16 that is based on writing, and this appears in the second paper of your English paper. It carries 15 marks, that is 25% of the marks of the whole paper. Question number 16 has 4 options, out of which you have to select one of them. You will be asked to write an essay or an article or a speech or a dialogue or a story. So my main focus is about stories. So you will know how to write stories step by step in this lesson. First of all, we will see what a story is. It is a narration, that is, telling a story or telling the incidents with a flow. Here in this question, it tests or measures your creative ability, as you are going to build up the whole story of your own. Let me introduce you the story map. The story map is how you organize the story. The story map includes the characters. The characters may be persons or animals or even maybe things. And the characters perform actions in the story and they may speak dialogues. Next, the setting. Setting tells you the time and the place the story takes place. That is, when and where the incidents takes place. And the next one is the flow of the story. First you have the beginning. At the beginning you can write like once upon a time or once there lived so on. And in the middle part you can write the problems and the solutions. The solutions that the characters took to solve the problem. The next one is ending. The end may be a happy one or a sad one. To write a story, you should know your grammar patterns. When you write a story, there are different grammar patterns that are used. Now let's discuss what the grammar patterns that can be used in a story. At once you may think it is only the simple past tense, but it is not only simple past tense, but there are other patterns too, such as I said, simple past tense, then the be verbs where you have to use was and were, and the structure there was, there were, and had, the past tense of has and have, and then the past continuous tense which is built up with was, over, and the present participle form of the verb. Let's look at the story in the next slide. So you will be identifying all these grammar patterns used in that story. Let's read the story together. Pratap was a clever boy. He was just 12 years old. One day he wanted to go to the library to borrow some books. He went to the bus stop. There were many people in the bus stop. While he was waiting in the place, an old man came near him. He had a big bag in his hand. The bag seemed to be very heavy. Suddenly, the man dropped his bag on the ground. He said that the bag was too heavy for him to hold. Nobody seemed to help him. Pratap picked the bag and kept it with him until a bus arrived. The old man thanked the little boy for his good deed. Now can you see all the underlined verbs? There I have used all the patterns that was mentioned earlier. Another very important fact is that children, you have ample time before the exam. So it is better to refer to any grammar notes or grammar books before going for the exam. It will strengthen your knowledge about these past tense patterns. When you write stories, you have to beautify your story with different structures. So I will be discussing some time phrases that can be used in a story. Now a story should have a smooth flow. To have this smooth flow, there should be well connected sentences. To connect or join the sentences, you can use these time phrases such as one day, after some time, at once, suddenly, then, next, after that, etc. And also to make your story more beautiful, you can add adjectives and adverbs appropriately, as many as possible, and at the same time it will lengthen your story. So even you can use the passive voice structures as well as the reported speech. Now let me explain how to organize your story. We will look at the following story: The Camel and the Fox. As I mentioned you earlier, the story map will help you to build up the story in a smooth, nice way. The first one, this is The Camel and the Fox. Let's see the pictures related to the incidents of the story. You can understand the story by looking at the pictures. Look at the first picture. What can you see? Yes, there is a camel and a fox. They seems to be very friendly. I will give you some words. See whether you can make some few sentences with these. The words are camel, fox, friends, forest. Okay, this is how I started. Once there lived a camel and a fox. They were friends. Both of them lived in a forest. Now look at the second picture. What can you see? The camel and the fox are looking at the other side of the river. These are my words and phrases. Searching for food, farm, other side of the river. Can you build up a sentence or two with these words and phrases? One day, while searching for food, they saw a farm on the other side of the river. Camel knew how to swim, but the fox did not. Look at the third picture. These are my words and phrases. Now try to build up some sentences using these words and phrases. So this is my sentence. So camel took the fox on his back and both went to the farm. Now look at the fourth picture. Now you can see the camel is eating some food and they seem to be very happy. So we will build up a sentence like this. They ate a lot of food and both of them were happy. Now let's go to the next picture. Now what is the fox doing? While the camel is listening, the fox might be singing a song. So these are my words and phrases. Fox began to howl, camel frightened, habit of singing after meals. So shall we build up sentences with these? At once the fox began to howl loudly. The camel was frightened and pleaded not to do so. The fox said, "I am sorry, my friend. I have this habit of singing after every meal." Now look at the next picture. What can you see? Yes, the camel was beaten by some people. They may be farmers. Now what is the fox doing? He is hiding under a bush. So these are my words and phrases. Farmers came, hit camel, fox hiding. Shall we develop some sentences with these phrases? Soon the farmers came and caught the camel. They hit the camel while the fox was hiding himself under a bush. Now what can you see in the next picture? Now the camel and the fox are going back. So these are my words and phrases. Fox waiting near the river, camel upset, fox climbed up camel's back, cross the river. So let's construct some sentences with these words and phrases. When the camel came back to the river, the fox was waiting for him. Camel was very upset. Fox climbed up the camel's back and started to cross the river. Now children, look at the next picture. What can you see? Now the fox had fallen into the water. So these are my words and phrases. Camel took a dip. Fox scared. Fox drowned. Now try to build up some sentences with these words and phrases. In the middle of the river, camel took a dip in the water. The fox was scared and asked him not to do so. But the camel replied, "I am sorry. I have this habit after every meal." The poor fox was drowned. So that is the story. When you refer back this story, you will understand the story map. How did the story begin? Once there lived a fox and a camel. So what were in the middle, you can say there's a problem. What was the first problem? They were very hungry. So what is the solution? They went to a farm to eat something. So there's another problem came. What was it? When the fox was howling, the farmers came and hit the camel. So how did the camel revenge? The camel took a dip in the river and the fox was drowned. So we will move on to the next story. Before that, we will read the whole story together. The Camel and the Fox. Once there lived a camel and a fox. They were friends. Both of them lived in a forest. One day, while searching for food, they saw a farm on the other side of the river. Camel knew how to swim, but the fox did not. So, Camel took the fox on his back and both went to the farm. They ate a lot of food and both of them were happy. At once, the fox began to howl loudly. The camel was frightened and pleaded not to do so. The fox said, "I am sorry, my friend, I have this habit of singing after every meal." Soon the farmers came and caught the camel. They hit the camel while the fox was hiding himself under a bush. When the camel came back to the river, the fox was waiting for him. Camel was very upset. Fox climbed up the camel's back and started to cross the river. In the middle of the river, Camel took a dip in the water. The fox was scared and asked him not to do so. But the camel replied, "I am sorry, I have this habit after every meal." The poor fox was drowned. Now children, you may see all the different grammar patterns that are used in the past tense were used here. Let's move on to the next story. The Lion and the Mouse. I think you all are familiar with this story. Take a look at the pictures and try to understand what are the events happening in this picture. Can you write some words and phrases under each picture? Yes. With the words and phrases, next you can write some sentences or construct some sentences related to the pictures. Now we will discuss the story map. Who are the characters in the story? Yes, the lion and the mouse. What is the setting? Yes, it happened in a forest. So how do you begin the story? You can begin like, once there lived a lion and a mouse in a forest. In the middle, you can write the problems and the solutions. And how do you end? What happened at the end? The lion and the mouse became good friends. So this is my story. The Lion and the Mouse. Once there lived a lion and a mouse in the wood. One day, the mouse was playing near the lion while it was asleep. Suddenly, the lion woke up. It caught up the mouse. The mouse was scared and asked the lion to let him free. The lion set him free. The mouse thanked the lion and went away. After a few days, the lion was caught up in a net. It cried for help. The mouse heard the terrible noise and came up to help the lion. It cut the net with its sharp teeth. Soon the lion was free. It thanked the mouse. Finally, they became good friends. Let's move on to the question in your practice paper book. It is the practice paper 9 in your self-learning and assessing kit practice paper book. Okay children, now we will go on to the story map. So what are the characters here? It's given. Yes, a greedy lion, greedy and cruel lion. So you can add more characters when you build up the story. And what is the setting? It happened in the wood or the jungle. So you can give a good beginning to the story, and the middle you can add the problem and the solutions that were taken to solve the problems by the characters, and then the ending may be a happy one or a sad one. So, let us try to build up the story with the picture clues. So, the name of my story is The Greedy Lion and the Hare. Now, look at the pictures, and these pictures will help you to build up the story. Look at the first picture. What can you see? There is a lion, he is dominating the other animals. The other animals are scared of him, and this happens in a forest. So, can you give some words and phrases related to this picture? So, I will keep this blank for you to fill this up. Look at the next picture. So, what can you see? All the animals are having a meeting. There may be a problem to be discussed. So, even the lion is there. So, can you give some words and phrases related to this picture? All right. So, this is the beginning of my story. Once there was a greedy and a cruel lion in the woods. That is the starting line that is given in the paper. He was very powerful and strong. All the animals of the jungle were scared of him. The lion killed the animals for his food. One day, the animals of the jungle decided to find a way out and called a meeting. The lion was also there. The animals asked the lion to stop hunting down the animals. They told that they would send animals one by one to his den so that he could kill and eat it as its food. The lion agreed. And look at the next picture. What are the characters here? Yes, the lion and a hare. The hare is telling something to the lion. So, can you fill up this slot with words and phrases? I hope you will write some words and phrases here. So, this is how I built up the next sentences. One day, it was Hare's turn to go into the den. He did not want to die. He thought of a plan. The hare entered the den and told the lion that there was another lion in the jungle. So, look at the next picture. Now, he is going to carry out his plan. The lion got angry and wanted to see the other lion. The hare took him to a well. Now, I suppose that you can probably guess what is happening next. And can you fill up this slot with words and phrases related to the picture? I hope you will write words and phrases related to the picture. So, these are my sentences. He asked the lion to look down into the well. The lion saw his own reflection in the water and got angry. At once, he jumped into the well and drowned. So, can you guess what will happen next? Now, see the picture, look at the picture, and can you fill up this slot? Yes, all the animals are happy. Now, there is no threat for the animals from the lion. The other animals may be thanking the little hare. The hare returned to the jungle and told the other animals what happened to the lion. All the animals lived happily ever after. So, that is the end of the story. You may write another story with these pictures. It depends on your creative ability. Now, we have come to the end of this lesson. Hope you have enjoyed it, and let's meet up in another lesson. Thank you.